rewatching it, it's not as sad as I thought it would be.
That's going to be your intro?
It's just mean. It's just kind of mean. It's just kind of mean. It's kind of a mean movie.
It kind of is.
Kind of is a little bit mean.
Oh my goodness. Hi guys, welcome back to the Charming Analysis podcast. I'm Mari.
I'm Jay.
Today's been a doozy.
It has been a doozy.
Today has been a fucking doozy, I will tell you that right now. But I'm not going to go into too many details about it because it's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's good.
Basically, the gist was I was in the ER. Well, not ER. I was in urgent care this morning. You were in urgent
care, and then you had to go deal with that. And that was gross.
But yeah, so I'm kind of out of spoons today. But Jay decided, hey, I know how to make you feel better. Let's watch Funny People. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be talking about Funny People.
Funny People, which is not really all that funny. It's kind of sad, and it's depressing and it's mean. And
it's a movie from 2009.
Yes. I forget. It was like a big...
it was big at the time?
No, like a big director. Was it... It's not Paul Thomas Anderson.
I don't know.
Or is it Judd Apatow? I don't remember. It was one of those fucking directors that, like, makes you think for some fucking reason.
But I will say this. It's another Adam Sandler movie, courtesy of Jay.
It's a movie that stars him. It's not an Adam Sandler production. Ain't any of that shit. Okay. It's a movie because he's an actor. He can act in other movies that are not
I know, but you know what I mean. So... why don't you explain what Funny People's about, honey?
So Funny People is about a comedian. Well, it's about two comedians. One of them has been doing a whole lot of show business for years and years. He makes shitty comedies. And he, gets the news that he has a form of leukemia and that he might die soon. So he takes an apprentice under his wing to write jokes for him to make him look good, and it kind of backfires on him
quite a bit.
Yeah, it kind of backfires on him, and it pretty much he takes this young mentor and he treats him tries to teach him like a confidant, but it's really just
him being a dick.
He's a huge dick.
Yeah.
I would say don't meet your heroes, but, wasn't really a hero to begin with. He wasn't really a guy who a lot of people thought of as, good. Good at even his craft.
Yeah, he just kind of... he's one of those actors that's, one of those people that you think...
everyone knows him.
They just don't really like him.
But they're just oh, it's that guy, you know?
Oh, it's that guy.
And, people don't really care because, he's not really a good person to be around. He pushes everyone away.
I'm not surprised.
And, he thinks that he got pretty much, a wake-up call. Now he's everyone thinks I'm shit. Well.
Not surprised.
You know.
Kinda is. But yeah, this was the first time I actually saw this movie. Jay's seen it before.
Yeah.
I will say this though, and I do agree with you with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Stuff I will say about this movie, right off the bat. This movie should have not been 2.5 hours. This was 2.5 hours of slow pace. I don't know if this is supposed to be slow burn or not.
Now, you have no problem watching long movies.
That's the thing. I don't have a problem watching long movies. Sometimes it's a good thing. I personally feel like this movie, though, could have been done in, an hour and a half. This should have not gone on for 2 hours.
Okay.
This could have literally been divided into 2 movies. It could have been just him being the mentor to the younger guy, and then a separate movie where they're basically trying to get him a family. This could have literally been either 2 separate movies or shortened to an hour and 30.
Maybe.
And here's my thing. Pacing to me for movies makes or breaks the movie for me sometimes.
It does for me too.
But to me, I'm you could feel the drag with this movie.
For you.
For me, I could feel the drag. Like, it dragged on so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be mean. I did try to give this fair movie a chance. Mm-hmm. But it dragged so long and bad. I did not like the pacing. That's one thing I will say about this movie. I hated the pacing for this. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have done the same exact movie for like an hour and 30. This movie dragged on way too far. And way too long, in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. That's something I'm definitely saying off the bat. Other than that, it's an alright movie. I'm kind of indifferent to this movie. I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. Like,
I have a feeling you don't know what to think about it, and then later you're gonna be like, "Oh, that movie, was boring. I'm never gonna watch it again."
Yeah, probably.
I feel like you're gonna do that. For me, the main thing why I like it, and
well, because you've seen this before. So, what do you think of this movie?
The main reason why I like it is that I think the performances are really, really fucking good. I think that's what. Like, if I could watch a performance for a very long time, I'll sit through slog. Like, I'll sit through something.
I don't mind the idea.
I'll sit through, like, because I like character, like. I like following characters around. I like seeing, like, where their troubles lead them.
And that's fine with me,
I like
too.
seeing drama, like actor drama, and I guess that's why I liked it a lot. I liked the performances and stuff. I liked that it wasn't really being too showboaty of, like, hey, some of these comedians are playing as, like, just actors, not real people, and then they get some comedians that play their real life self.
Like Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham was in the movie.
He was like a side character. He only got like 2 lines.
But
like, you act like he was. I know, but like I'm talking about, like, when they get like the cameos in there and they're talking to, like,
Seth Rogen was also.
They're talking to George, Adam Sandler's character, and they're like saying, like, oh, that guy, he's weird. Consider him a legend, but he's not a good person.
Like, Seth Rogen in this was not bad. It's just, he played Ira in the movie. Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. As a character...
It's one of the better Seth Rogen performances. I normally can't stand the fucking guy.
I was going to say that, too. I don't mind Seth Rogen in this. I feel like he does a good job in this, but I feel like
he doesn't Seth Rogen it up. Yeah,
but also... I don't like Ira as a character. I feel like he's a bit of a pussy in some aspects, but I get that's kind of his character development. He's just starting out. He's trying not to make a fool of himself, and he's trying to make better decisions, which I can understand that aspect of him. Just because I don't like a specific character doesn't mean I hate them. Yeah. Like, I do think he does get good character development in this movie.
Yeah.
But there was some stuff I just didn't really like about him. Like, and I can understand why, kind of thing. It's just, I feel like they could have written him a little bit better when it came to that. I feel like he could have been written a little bit better. But other than that, he did all right. He's probably one of the better characters in this movie, if I'm being honest. Normally when I find movies that I don't like, I try to find at least one character I like in it so I can kind of, like, feel better about it. But I don't really like most of the characters in this. His, like, roommate... Not the one that was in the first guy that was in Yo Teacher.
Jonah Hill?
Yeah. Jonah Hill was an absolute dick in this movie. I did not like him. I hated him.
He's kind of a dick in This Is the End.
I know. He's basically doing a younger version of the dude from This Is the End. That's kind of what this reminded me of. He reminded me of that character from that. And it's like, I don't know if that's just... something that he just does in some of these movies, but I don't like the whole asshole attitude with him. I feel like they could do better. That's just me, though. You could agree with me, you could disagree with me, I don't care. Like, I did not like him in this movie. He was an absolute dick. The other guy was not that bad. He was a dick, but not... I'm kind of indifferent about him. The Yo Teach guy.
Judd Apatow? No, that's not Judd Apatow.
I don't know.
No! He was a big actor and, like... This is definitely something that came out in like the late 2000s.
Yeah, you
will feel the late 2000s.
This is definitely
ooze the late 2000s. I don't mean culture wise. I'm just saying like
in general.
if you were to pick something, this was made in 2000.
This is
2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, somewhere around that. But it was made during that time, and you can tell.
I will say this,
and I don't know, it's just a nostalgia thing. I like things that were probably made in late 2000s. That's just me, though. That's just me.
This is one of those movies, like, you can feel how dated it is. Like, it just reeks of 2009.
Yeah.
Like, it just does, and it's like...
But I don't care, because I don't know. I feel like character writing that didn't have to go that deep into things, but still went deep enough. And they were, like, just kind of, like, letting the actors, like, act and do what they wanted with, like, the script and everything. I think that's interesting to me. And I also think that it's kind of a little bit of a quasi, like, kind of retelling of Adam Sandler's, like, life as a comedian.
Are you sure?
Like, he started out as, like, in the comedy clubs.
Well, I know
and he
that.
And he pretty much, like, started as, like, an up-and-comer. And then he ended up getting big. He did all of these, like, shitty movies. And now everyone thinks that he's, like, a sellout bitch.
Well,
like, I think that's, like, I don't know, like, for some reason, I don't know if that's, like, was that intended? I have no idea. I think it's interesting, though, that he played a character like this back when he was still doing these movies.
Yeah, like I was surprised at that.
I was like, man, this is some self-criticism. Like, does he really want to kill himself? Like, I don't know. I find that so fascinating to me.
Well, then again, you're an Adam Sandler whore, so I can see that.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
You are.
I would do...
You are. Admit it, you are.
Yeah, but I would be the same way with, like, any, like, actor that I also, like, knew and, like, I followed and stuff. Like, it's interesting to me. And it's not just like, oh... You know, if it was Nat Sailor, I wouldn't be into this. So I probably would be into it if it was any other actor. Like, again, it's all in the performance. I really don't care.
Which I also understand as well. Like,
I'm just like, man, a guy who hates himself this much, but he thinks if he does like this one thing right, if he like, you know, if he like he tells people that he's sick, that he's gonna get sympathy, or that he's like, oh, I'm sick, I can get, like, you know, I can reatone for my sins and get a life I never, like, you know, I missed out on. And I'm sick. I'm sick. And, like, you know, it's okay because I'm sick. I'm dying. So I deserve it. And I'm like, that is so assholey, but, like, it's interesting. It's an asshole that's interesting. And normally, I can watch an asshole that's interesting.
And, like, I will admit, that is an interesting concept to do for a movie, but I feel like this has been done before, but probably not to the extent that Funny People did.
I'm sure.
Like, also, a lot of the jokes were very dated. There was a lot of jokes about, like, very bad stuff. I'm not going to go into details of specifically what.
I mean, yeah, there's, like, you know, there's, like, a lot of talks about, I don't know,
death,
penises,
lots of dicks, lots
of dick jokes,
lots of ball jokes,
killing yourself jokes. Which, by the way, when I watched this for the first time, I watched that line where they reference Robin Williams taking his life. Yeah, that made me so upset then. It makes me upset now.
It still makes me upset.
The thing about it is, it wasn't really it's not a thing that, like, you know, it was just, like, very
blink and you'll miss it.
No, it was just a very, like, unfortunate accident that the joke, like, just went like that, because fucking 2009, like, fucking decade later, who knew what would happen? So
yeah.
And it's not just also directed towards, you know, that. It's also directed towards the characters in the movie. Like, It's just like, oh,
like first
like
half of that was
are
literally
not happy. People are not happy in real life. I want to end myself. Like, it's basically like this whole movie's language is like, I don't feel happy. I want to die. That's the whole message of like.
That was like for the first half of the whole movie. That was
for the first half, and then we get into the plot of like, well, maybe I can be happy if I do this,
which is basically steal a man's wife and possibly kids.
Steal a man's wife and steal a man's wife and kids who they didn't think was happy, but like, you don't know if what they're saying is true because of your ego, like.
And, like, the thing is, like...
I find stuff like that interesting.
And I do, too. But it's, like... I'm just saying...
I get it if you thought it was too long and, like, it dragged.
Yeah, because, like, to me, like I said before, this movie did drag quite a bit, in my opinion. Like, this could have... They could have either, one, shortened this to 1:30 and probably cut out as much of the second half of the movie. Like, they could have done it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Or they could have just made it into 2 separate movies.
Which, I don't think.
Like, if this first one did successful,
Comedy dramas, I don't think they get, like, 2 parts. So,
because, like, to me,
they shorter would have been fine.
Yeah, like, more likely, shorter probably would have been better, but if it was popular enough...
Don't make it the same length as Punch Drunk Love or something.
Yeah, like... To me, I feel like they just kind of, like...
Yeah.
That's, like, the one aspect of this movie I can't. Yeah. I can't handle when stuff drags like this. That's, like, one of my number one pet peeves in a movie, because pacing is everything to me.
Pacing is everything to me, but it didn't bother me here.
Well, to you it didn't, which is fine. I'm glad you like the pacing more than me. I didn't like the pacing, but that's just me personally. Like, So compared to the first time you saw it, do you like it better than the last time you saw it, or do you feel like you watched it better and it got better?
Well, for me, I think I tend to overhype things that I saw as a kid, and then I look back on it and I'd be like, oh, it's like, you know, probably less, but I still like it, or oh, it's crap. Like,
so what did you originally rate this when
I rated it, like, honestly, I normally put it in my, top 30? Top 40? Now it's like maybe... I don't think it even cracks top 50. Maybe 100, but, like, I don't know, like... I'm very specific about what movies hit my, like, top, like...
Which I understand. I was just curious. But, yeah.
But I still think it's really good. I don't know, like, if it's, like, the performance of... I watched it because I was at, watching Adam Sandler's, like, main for the performance about it, because he's... I guess you could say it's Seth Rogen is either or. You could consider them the main character.
They're both basically the main characters, Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen, because they're both... Yeah. The direction of the story mainly goes around them.
They're partners, in a way.
They're basically, like, 2 main characters.
Yeah. But I was just mainly watching it for his performance, and I'm like, would this crack, like, one of the best Adam Sandler performances? And then fucking Uncut Gems blew that whole thing out of the water, so no.
And I will also say this, too, like... This definitely is not one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. I'm going to tell you that right now.
This and Uncut Gems. You just don't like watching Adam Sandler in long movies.
I don't mind... This is the thing. I don't mind him in long movies. I just feel like some of these long movies could have been executed better.
I don't know.
Like, I didn't mind him in Uncut Gems. I just feel like, this movie specifically, compared to Uncut Gems, was the pacing.
Probably reaches my top 30.
I do like him in Uncut Gems. I will tell you that. It's just, some of his movies hit for me and some of them don't. Like, it depends on how it's written and how he does the movies and stuff. Because some of the movies that he's done that he was just an actor and not really wrote were good. And then there's some that he did that were good as well. It just depends on how it's going, like, in and of itself. Because he's done, like, so many movies and stuff like that. Ones that he's, written himself and ones that he hasn't written himself. Mm-hmm. And it kind of depends for me on how they go about it and stuff like that. This, to me, I feel like they could have written Adam Sandler's character a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess, I think I'll give an example. I don't like the subplot he had with the ex-girlfriend. I feel like he could have just moved on at that point. And she basically kind of just strung him along, in a sense. Like, she liked him, and then as soon as her husband's in the picture, she's like, oh, I don't like him. So do you like him or do you not like him? Because that confused me.
I don't like that because, like, kind of get that she just wanted to have stardom again.
Which I understand. She wanted to feel like
back in the day when she actually did probably like him, and when she was, still back in her golden years, not being a mom and not being unsatisfied with her marriage. But now, like, then it's like, oh, it was a big mistake. He told me that he was dying and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man,
you're really gonna throw him under the bus for that?
Yeah, but he kind of deserved to be.
Which I understand. She threw him under the bus, but he deserved it in some aspects. But I don't feel like he could have completely been put at the blame.
That's the thing. I like stories like that where you did someone like that really deserve something like that, and you can't say yes or no. And I don't know, I like stuff like that. I like drama like that. So
yeah, me too. Yeah. Like, it depends for me. But anyway, do I think this is the best Adam Sandler movie? No. Far from it. I kind of feel like it'd be in the middle of all the Adam Sandler ones that we've seen. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, but it's also not good either, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, I do like Adam Sandler as an actor. Don't get me wrong. I do like him as an actor. There's just some movies I feel like they could have had somebody else do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This was one of those movies I feel like they could have picked a different main person with Seth Rogen, and I feel like it would have been a lot better. Mm-hmm. But for what they did do, it's all right. I probably would not see this again, personally. Sorry, I choked on my spit.
You did.
The pacing on this is awful. Like, it's absolutely abysmal.
You say it's awful, I say it's fine.
And this is why we
have differing opinions.
And that's okay. We're allowed to have differing opinions.
Yes.
But yeah, personally for me, do you have anything else to say before we give ratings?
I still like it. If someone wants some good performances,
Seth Rogen definitely does better in this, though.
With the movie about, like, comedians who just are full of themselves, I guess not full of themselves, but just toxic working environment comedians, I guess. I give it probably,
Wait, can I get my rating first?
Oh, you want to rate it? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, for me personally, this has got to be like a 4.5 out of 10. I think it's decent. I definitely would not see this again. I feel like with a few tweaks here and there, I could have given it a little bit higher of a rating. Mm-hmm. But I see this as a 4.5. I don't see too much really out of this movie. I'm glad I watched it with my bean because I always like enjoying watching movies with you. Mm-hmm. Not every movie's going to be a hit, in my opinion, but I'm glad you like it at least. That's what makes me happy. If I can't enjoy it, at least my bean can enjoy it.
I give it a solid 7.
You give it a 7? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's good. But yeah, that's basically the end of this podcast. We are going to be live streaming. Probably by the time this comes out, we will be live streaming the thumbnails for this and another movie. Mm-hmm. Actually, not another movie, for season 2 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So we'll be having those out probably by the time this is uploaded. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, thank y'all for watching. And as always, I'm Mari.
I'm Jay.
And we're out. Bye, guys.